So welcome to problem 1, the first major project of your BI student career. As you create your emergency department, please keep in mind that this is an incredibly large project, so there are a lot of support-based resources available for you. You have your instructions from the Project Lead the Way curriculum, you have your rubric available, you have this video and all of the different sections within this video available to you, you have a checklist that you're going to create along the way, you're going to have the Trello for your project management system. If you use all of these things effectively, you'll come up with a great emergency room design. Remember that this is going to require an extensive, vast amount of medical knowledge and biomedical background to put the proper things in the proper locations and effectively create an emergency department. So use everything you've learned up to this point, use your research abilities to find online resources, and use your project support system and your group mates to create a wonderful emergency department. We look forward to seeing what you come up with at the end. We really see some great projects you guys develop.
This being your first assignment in BI, it is probably the first time you have seen such a large project with so many different elements and facets and responsibilities for a group of people to handle. In addition, it's going to be about a month long. So my biggest tool for you, my biggest tip is to make sure that you use Trello. Trello is going to be your best friend in making sure that you do not shoot yourself in the foot. It's incredibly common, shockingly common, frighteningly common to see students flounder on this first project because there's just so many elements. Even though everything is laid out and it's straightforward, there's just so many plates spinning. So prevent bad things from happening to your grade by using Trello. We have a video on the YouTube channel describing how to use Trello, making sure that you use it to its fullest extent to make it essentially a life jacket for your grade. One of the other tools that's going to be essential for you here is Sketchup. We introed it to you in class, and there are a ton of tutorials out there on YouTube. There's websites dedicated to SketchUp. It is a thoroughly documented piece of software, so if you are wondering how to do something in SketchUp, Google is going to be your biggest friend here. But a couple things that people don't understand or forget about when they're using SketchUp. The first thing is that the warehouse has a ton of pre-built resources for you that are going to be extremely applicable to our project. There are IV trees in there, there are hospital beds in there, there are ambulances in there. There are a ton of things that can really help you with this project, so make sure that you look through the warehouse and use it to your advantage. The second feature that people forget about is the duplicating tool. You can spend a lot of time designing and making a great room and then just duplicate that room. That's the whole point of the project, is spending time making an emergency department. Every room in an emergency department is as uniform as possible to make sure that it is easy for someone to go from one room to the other. So duplicate your rooms, make it very easy on yourself. It might take some time investment on that first initial room, but then copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, and you are well on your way to completing your ED. So remember that you can duplicate rooms, objects, and anything else that you build in SketchUp and save yourself a lot of time in the long run. One of the first decisions that your group needs to make in this project is, where is this hospital going to be? It should be an actual place, because you can pull demographic information and tons of other statistics and census information from actual resources to help inform the decisions that you make for your hospital. We should not have any Narnia-based EDs around here. You should have an actual location that you are going to be putting your design into. That's going to inform what types of patients that you're going to see, what types of injuries are most likely to occur in your location, what is the budget for the hospital. These types of things inform the types of decisions and design choices that you make. It changes the ratio of rooms that you have or the types of innovations you might make. or the overall size of the hospital. All of these things are informed by the setting, so make sure that you make a deliberate and intelligent decision about the setting of your ED.
So in the research and outline section of your rubric, there's two important points to make. The first being that it has to be highly organized. And by highly organized, we mean that you should have a OneNote with clearly labeled sections and pages and maybe even section groups that help us to locate your background research and information. The second important point is that there should be background research for all of the decisions and choices you made within your emergency department. So we should be able to go into your OneNote and track why you decided to have certain rooms or what materials you decide to have within certain rooms. This should all be clearly supported by some sort of research, not just arbitrarily decided by you. For the presentation content section of your rubric, you need to remember to show all of the main points and demonstrate the main points to the audience. You might have put a lot of thought into something, but if you don't show them why or what you did, then there's no way for the people watching to know that you made a conscious decision in a certain way. So make sure you show all those things. The second point for that is that all of your sources need to be cited. If your sources are not cited and you don't tell us where you got your information from, then you're not gonna get the full credit in that section of the rubric. For the organization of presentation row of the rubric, it's really important that you do have some sort of organizational structure. Now this project lends itself really nicely to the what is and what could be scenario we showed you in a TED Talk, but also you need to have some sort of plan for how you're presenting and the order that you're presenting your information. It shouldn't just be jumping from here to there. You should have a conscious flow to your presentation so that it's well organized. In the quality of visual aids section, these are the things we discussed in class about creating a very visually pleasing presentation. This includes the colors and the mood of your presentation. It includes filling the space properly within your slides. It includes keeping your words to a minimum and effectively using bullets to get your points across. These are the things we're going to look for while we're assessing the quality of your visual aid. In the presentation skills section of your rubric, this is how you speak to the audience. First of all, everyone should be equally involved and have a fair amount of time to talk. And as you speak, communicate effectively. Use the communication skills such as eye contact, movement, hand movements, and the way that you speak and the tone of your voice as you communicate with the class when you present. For your 3D layout, the first thing you need to understand is that this is a ×8 multiplier, which means this is a very large portion of the grade for this project. You want to make sure that it's done really well at really high quality and make sure that you follow the 114 resource sheet and include all aspects that are covered in the 114 resource sheet. Doing that's going to give you a great grade on the 3D layout portion of the project. There are two innovations you have to create in this project, your equipment-based innovation and your staffing-based innovations. You'll notice that there's a different row for each one of them on the rubric. Both of them need to be unique ideas. If we can find this innovation created anywhere in the world online, then it's not unique and you're going to lose points for that. You need to make sure your innovation ideas are unique. You also need to make sure you physically demonstrate your innovation to the audience, not just describe, but demonstrate how it's going to function or how it's going to work. You don't need to make a functional model, you need to be able to show how it would function in a real world scenario to get the full credit on this part of the rubric. The last two sections on your rubric are for the patients that you're going to walk through the emergency department. Patient number one is one that is directly from the Project Lead the Way emergency department forms that we triaged earlier in the school year. So you're going to choose one that fits into your emergency department and walk them through the hospital and show how you'd complete that form and show how they'd use the things inside of your hospital. Patient number two, you're going to take a blank form from that same assignment and you're going to make the blank form be a patient you create entirely to utilize different forms of your emergency department. Now you'll notice that for each one of those, they have to use the innovations that you created. They don't both have to use both innovations, but both innovations need to be used. In other words, you could have patient one use your equipment innovation, and you could have patient two use your staffing innovation, and that would be good. Also, you could have them both use both innovations, or one use both, but both patients need to use at least one innovation, and both innovations do need to be used by your patients.
Some final thoughts as you go to tackle this project include using Trello to manage everything. This will get away from you if you do not use Trello to maintain progress, manage everything about this project. The biggest tool for you in addition to Trello is the checklist that we made. We used the resources from the checklist manifesto and created a playlist that explains how to prevent all of the most common errors that we see with students handling these massive projects in BI. So use that checklist, use Trello, and make sure that you do not shoot yourself in the foot. The final thought is that your volunteer experience can be incredibly informative and incredibly helpful in this project. If you do not infuse a little bit of your experience into this assignment, then you are really missing out. It's going to help make your delivery of your presentation a lot more personable. It's going to invoke some emotion, not only in yourself, so you seem like you're interested in the project that you're doing, but also it's going to make your audience members connect to the experience that they share with you if they are also volunteers at the ED, or just connect with the emotions that you have about what's happening. So don't forget about those tools that are available to you and what you've already done that can help you with this.